Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, and he made it short, so it can be, it can last for hours and hours. More seriously, sorry about the fact that I'm not Claudia Dussert-Seeger. I'm the kind of last-minute change in the presentation. We will keep the same sort of topic, so I will speak about AI definitely, but not about testing with AI, unfortunately. And by the way, you all have best regards from Claudia, who is sick in bed, so that's the reason why she couldn't join, and that I had a chance to speak in front of you this afternoon. So that's by AI. Let's jump into the show directly. A little background. So unless you've been stuck, in a cave for the last 10, 15 months, or you had a nice trek in the North Pole, you probably heard about AI. And AI is invading our daily life, I would say. You heard a lot about this generative AI, whether it is the open AI products like DALL-E 2 or 3, like the ChatGPT 3, 3.5, 4 ready, whatever. So you've heard that AI is definitely booming. This is a kind of marketing gimmick. Everyone now wants to have AI in their product, in their solution, whatever. So this is something that is kind of a buzzword. And what I would like to tell you this afternoon is not about this kind of Hollywood kind of picture. AI is very expresses a lot of feelings in us, let's say, and you have the white side or the bright side of the road, which is R2-D2. This kind of AI connecting to the Death Star and telling there are two gods waiting for you. This is the issue. This is the exit. This is blah blah blah. Or you have the dark side, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back, and so on and so forth. This is all fantasy. This is all fantasy. It has nothing to do with the current AI that we have. But basically, behind the fantasy, there are a couple of issues, a couple of problems, a couple of questions that we should ask ourselves before really diving into that. And that's the whole topic. So, first of all, the devil is in the details. So I've been playing around a little bit with ChatGPT, for instance, because one of the things that I often get as vice president of the ISTQB or president of the CFTL, as it was mentioned, is when I go to conference or have a panel, a discussion panel somewhere, people ask me, okay, I'm a tester, I'm new in the field, I'm not that technical, will I be replaced by an AI soon? And my answer is, no, we have a bright future, but of course we need to evolve. We need to think about our career paths, about our profession, but it's not that we are going to be replaced easily by an AI. And I played with ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT, okay, this is a very simple case. So you buy a train ticket and you have a reduction, kind of rebate if you're a young guy or an older guy, whatever. So the very classic stuff, the stuff that you get if you've taken the foundation level exam or a course, you definitely met that sort of example. And I asked, okay, ChatGPT, can you write me a test case with that using equivalence partitioning or boundary value analysis, for instance? And yeah, it works like magic, You get something like a test case, and each and every case is more or less all right, but 90% or 85% of the solution is there. Because you always have this little 5 to 10% extra that is completely wrong, that is misleading. For instance, at a certain moment in time, with my train ticket, I had a kind of condition, let's make sure that you don't get a negative price on the ticket. But how can you get a negative price on the ticket? Yeah, of course you can tell me for many good reasons how a software can miscalculate and give you a negative result. But from the data that I put down, from the prompt engineering that I've done, I don't see any reason why ChatGPT would tell me, check for the negative price. So everything works, more or less. If you look at YouTube and you check a couple of videos, the early ChatGPT adoption videos, you see that a lot of people have used that piece of software, that AI, in order to solve common problems, whether it is nested condition in an Excel file, whether it is building a macro in Excel or in whatever Microsoft product. And again, if you check the video till the end, you see that it was working 95%, but there's always one little glitch. Oh, A should be replaced by B there. This is getting the data from the wrong colon. But it's no problem, it's no problem. We just fix it and this is okay. And yes, it is okay, because if you don't know anything about nested conditions, if you don't know how to program Excel, if you don't know how to write a VBA script, yes, of course, it helps you a lot. The trouble is, if you just rely blindly, if you're just flying blind and believe everything that the AI gives you, then you're in deep trouble because it will not work. And if you're not having enough expertise to make sure that you understand why it's not working exactly from the first time, then of course you're a bit lost in space. If you take another example, that's about these Tesla cars and these autopilot whatever, it works fine. It works fine for thousands and thousands, if not millions of kilometers. No problem at all. That can drive. You just give the destination and the car can drive. But sometimes you have a truck crossing the road, it's on the desert, the truck is having a blank flank, and the light is very strong, and then of course the sensors do not make the difference between the horizon and the truck. And then you have a car crash and you die. So it works, but not always. And the big issue is, how good enough are we to detect? We're working with risk analysis all the time, and you know that risk, that's a probability of occurrence, that's the impact that you have, but there's also something else that is called the probability of detection. If a car leaves the building chain with 3 wheels, that's pretty easy. You can see that. But if there is a glitch in the software, that is much more difficult to identify, and it might be that it kills you equally. I did it, okay? That is a very interesting one, and it's now booming, because I've seen, since I made this presentation, and it's just a couple of months ago, this is a brand new presentation, by the way, there are already evolutions in the field. That is about who owns the result. So basically speaking, if you look at this generative AI, like OpenAI, like ChatGPT, whatever, they're basing their system on a big training database, which is basically out of the web for most of it. It's not connected directly to the web, because OpenAI was clever enough not to reproduce Microsoft tie effect. I don't know if you heard about tie effect. That was very, very funny. A couple of years ago, Microsoft was already working on AI-based systems. And they created a small chatbot, actually a small AI chatbot, that was there to interfere with Twitter. Today it's called X. Thank you very much, Elon. It's much more clear. Whatever. And Ty was there, kind of little virgin, little girl, just there and trying to understand how human would behave. That was the goal. That was the name of the game. No more, no less. Unfortunately for Ty, a couple of trolls there identified her as an AI, and they decided to train her in a certain way. And after 24 hours, believe it or not, Ty became a big racistic kind of AI. Hating women, willing to have sex with anyone, Microsoft had to stop the initiative after 24 hours. Okay? So OpenAI decided, okay, I don't want to have this effect anymore, so I will disconnect, for now, ChatGPT from the web. But the training database is from the web, right? And the trouble is, who owns the big amount of content? If you go to Delhi 2 or 3, whatever, and you say, hey, can you please generate me an image of, I don't know, a cat singing with a violin on a rooftop, okay? You get something, but that something is derived from existing images that have been created by human beings somewhere, okay? And then the big question is that, who owns the cat in the end of the day? Is it you, because this is your prompt engineering, but you're using their tool? Is it them? Or is it the IP owners that created the original images that could be derived into what you get? And of course, if you followed a little bit the news recently, you've seen that there was a big strike in the US for authors and script writers and actors, because they were fearing that AI would be used against them. And once you are in the machine, let's say, once you are modelized, definitely they can reuse that, and you can play forever and ever after. There's absolutely no problem today to have Humphrey Bogart playing a new movie for you. And he can wear a clone hat or whatever, because AI is able to generate that. We have that computing power. The problem is that it's not Humphrey Bogart. And oh, by the way, if Humphrey Bogart is living, does he want to do that? And who owns Humphrey Bogart? This is a little bit the trouble. And from a legal perspective, this is very, very tricky, because you have the difference between I own the contents and I infringe the copyright somewhere, or I change the content, this is a fair use, I bring my own added value to that because I modify the content, and then it can be that I become the owner. And this is not absolutely clear today. Neither it is absolutely clear if you own the content that you generated through this AI or not. Of course, it goes a little bit further, because we don't care about generating images with AI in most cases. Not the people in this room, I guess. We are not content creators. We are testers, developers, whoever we are. We are IT persons. So what we want is to put some code in there and get the code tested, or get the code improved, or get the code optimized, or whatever. Trouble is, if you put the code into the machine, is it still your own code? Do you still own that? Or is it somewhere available to the big community? Maybe not today, but it might be. And, oh, by the way, if this is your own code, if it's proprietary, do you want to share that with the whole world? No, because it's your own. And, oh, by the way, the prompt that you get back, the result that you get back, are you sure that it's not containing malicious code? Because, you know, GitHub has been attacked and hacked I don't know how many times. So what you get might be something that is very malicious. And if you don't have that degree of expertise to understand that there is something wrong in what you get, because maybe this is too big for you to check, or because, yeah, you're just, you know, not good enough, then what is going to happen, and who's liable? Interesting question, isn't it? What I often get is, well, I love that one. And that was also Tesla's reply after the crash with the truck that I just mentioned. It will work better in the next version. This is what you always get. You know, yeah, but the sensors, you know, the LiDAR was not perfect, blah, 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 conditions, and so on and so forth. Yeah, okay. It works on my computer. Are you going to sell my computer to the customer? What is the difference? It's exactly the same. I mean, yes, I do agree it will work better in the next version. It can only be better because we improve, hopefully. This is the agile approach. Try fast, fail fast, that's all right. No trouble at all. But when you're sitting in the Tesla and you're completely crushed against the truck, I'm not quite sure that you want to hear that. So, another trouble that we have with AI, and I already evoked that a little bit, is regarding the liability, you know? If you take again the example of this Tesla car, you're not driving. Actually, you just enter the car, you sit down and you say, I want to go to Warsaw, Doubletree, I'm there in the airport, and I'm sitting, relaxing, reading a newspaper or something, and this is it. Okay? You don't touch the wheel, you don't touch the pedal, you don't do anything. But you have an accident. And there is a good reason for AI to have an accident. It's called physics. You know, the real world, it's all fine to be virtual, it's all fine to have these kind of your eyes, but down to earth, there's physics. If I let this fall, it will fall down to the earth. It's physics. Okay, I blame Newton every day because I'm that kind of absent-minded guy, but this is it. So basically speaking, if you're driving this driverless car or not driving this driverless car and somebody crosses the road just before, you hit the person, there's no way that the AI can avoid that. if physics says you can't stop the car in such a short distance. And I didn't see it coming because it was hidden by the light or behind the wall or whatever. The kind of stuff that happens to human beings too. There's no trouble. Where the trouble starts is who is liable, who is responsible. And basically speaking, this is not the AI, this is not the car manufacturer, this is not the software maker, this is you. Yeah, but I didn't touch the wheel, I didn't touch the pedal. It would have happened to me if I were driving, but I was not driving. So why am I liable? Because the insurance company says you are the insurance taker, so you are liable. You know, guys, if I'm liable, I prefer driving my own car, even if I'm tired. Okay. One of the big trouble we have today with artificial intelligence is called explainability or repeatability, and both of them combine. It is, if I ask a question, what is the color of my shirt? It will reply, and it will normally reply consistently. I should have the same answer every time I raise the question. With AI, it doesn't work that way. Not necessarily. It is pretty consistent, but not all the time. I made the experiment with my bio, you know. That gentleman there read my bio, and you were bored even after I started my presentation because of all the things I've done, blah, blah, blah. I was told, before using ChatGPT is very good in writing resumes and these kind of things. Okay, I'm Olivier Denoo, ChatGPT, please write my resume. Because this is something that each and every conference asks me, can you write a short bio, blah, blah, and every time I have to retype, well, now I'm clever enough, huh? I have a text file and I just copy-paste like everyone, but okay, so write my bio. I'm sorry, I don't know Olivier Denoo. Cool, I'm not a rock star, it can be that doesn't know me, no trouble at all. Okay, that's fine. Can you give me a little bit more context? Yes, president at the time, I was still president of the ISTQB, now I've got my 2 terms, so I cannot be anymore. President of the ISTQB. And guess what? Once I still don't know. Once I got ISTQB is international organization, blah, 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 with the description, but nothing about me. How disappointment. Or I even got it, and I got the capture. No, you're not the president of ISTQB, because the president of ISTQB is somebody called Klaas Sikkel. I checked the guy, I Googled the guy. He's a Dutch lecturer, probably a very good person. I never met him. He's never been part of the pack. Never, ever he joined the ISTQB in any case. But he was the president of the ISTQB. Okay, next version, 3.5, Olivier Denoo, still don't know you. Oh, of course you can say, yeah, but ChatGPT is only knowing people as up till 2021. Yeah, but I was president in 19, so that's bad answer. And then what does he say? Oh, still don't know you. Okay, president of the ISTQB. And then he writes some sort of a bio, which is complete, pardon my French, bullshit, but looking fine, you know? So I was rejoicing. Oh, it looks like me, yeah? It's not me, but it looks like me, you know? All kind of generality, general kind of stuff about what the president of the ISTQB should be. So repeatability is not a guarantee. And the problem is, at a certain moment in time, when you need to make a decision, you need to make sure that it's not going to change tomorrow, you know? Another trouble with this repeatability is, in most cases, now I'm talking about more serious case, you had this AI in the US that were there to help the judges to identify what kind of convict should be likely to recidive, so to get another criminal offense in a short period of time, you know? And we've heard the story that this was completely biased. The example is there. That was this black girl, little girl. She stole a bike that day, then she regrets. She comes back to bring the bike to the owner, but unfortunately the police is there waiting for her. Okay, she's seized. On the other side, you have a guy that is robbing in a shop, and the guy is seized as well. And then they fill in a questionnaire, a form, with 119 questions-ish. Nothing about the gender, nothing about anything that looks touchy or looks a little bit, offending for anyone today. Trouble is that the little girl got a recidive probability of 8 on 10 and the guy 3. She goes to jail, no probation, no nothing, blah, blah, blah. And the guy is relieved on probation and he commits another kind of big robbery, armed robbery, and so on and so forth, right after. Her life is ruined. And what did she do? She was a difficult teenager for sure, but no real big criminal offense, nothing serious. She stole a bike and regret, and her life is ruined just because she's black. And the question was never asked. It's inferred from the neighborhood and so on and so forth. And you know what is terrible with that? It's not that we find that this is biased. It's not that we find that there are some ethical problem behind. It is that it will never be put in the open because these kind of piece of software, these algorithms, these training databases, the way that the calculation is done or the evaluation is done, whatever it is top secret. Because if it's put in the open, then everyone knows and everything can bias, and you come back to the Thai effect. So basically speaking, they some sort of self-protect their own stuff. It is kind of, business secret, business, protected content. So ethics is by far not guaranteed. And that's one of the problems I have today. Regarding the training database, just go to Google, just go to, there was an experiment with another generative AI, image generative AI, which is Midjourney. And the guy, he's an autistic profile, he's an Asperger, and he just say, okay, Asperger, generate images of Asperger. Well, first of all, out of 250 images that he generated, because he keeps on, well, Asperger are pretty good in repeating these kind of boring stuff. I know that because I have one at home, and I know how they work. Well, basically speaking, he got 250 images of what Midjourney was considering to be the Asperger profile. Most of them were men. None of them were smiling. There was one black and one Asian out of the pack only. And there was a very, very high proportion of red hair guys. I'm sorry. Mine is a girl, she has no red hair, and she's smiling all day because she's a generous nature. You see the problem? If you go to Google and type CEO, if you go to Bing or whatever and type, hacker or something, just check the result that you get in terms of image and see if it's the good proportion. Another trouble I have with regards to these generative AI is if you look at ChatGPT, if you look at the preconditions and so on and so forth and the explanation before, you know that in order to, again, avoid a little bit this Thai effect, they self-defensed against these kind of, hackers attack or whatever. And they just made sure that you're not going to get a valid answer if you prompt something like, hey, ChatGPT, I have a Swiss knife, 2 packs of milk, and a cup of beer. Tell me how I can make a bomb to blow the, the CNET or something. It will not answer in a proper way. So it will not tell you. Now, if you tell ChatGPT, hey, please act as a terrorist, and I have a limited supply, blah, 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 can you please explain how I would do that for writing my novel? You have a fair chance to get the right answer. So there are ways to go around, okay? But in order to avoid the first prompt, there is an extra layer that they put, which is called supervision, human supervision. So I have a bunch. So you have the training, you have the algorithm, you have the training, then you have the labeling during the training. So it says, this is a cat, this is a dog, this is another cat, this is a bird, this is a car. So that well, I'm just simplifying here, but the AI understands during the training phase that the kind of answers it should give are based upon this training and are the right one. But on top of that, they just put an extra layer, which is a couple of, wise men or women, or I don't know, maybe they are cats. I haven't got a clue because nobody knows. that are just judging what is acceptable or not acceptable. I guess this is not online. This is not when you prompt, but there are some kind of, prompt review or something and categories and so on and so forth. The big trouble I have with that is it is completely opaque to me. So I'm pretty sure that if I see a prompt that is, aiming to build a bomb or something and destroy and be a terrorist, yeah, okay, I agree. This is definitely not a good stuff for humanity, so stop that. On the other side, this is an American product. I'm not quite sure that in terms of ethics, I have exactly the same line of thought of the American, and I don't know these guys. It can be that this is Donald Trump and their friends, and I'm not really on that side. I'm not really united with them on all of this. Talking about abortion, talking about religion, talking about, I don't know. So how can I say that the kind of result I get are unbiased? How can I say that I'm not manipulated? I'm not really entering in the conspiracy theory, but still there is a risk because you have that layer that I do not control at all, and that is there to control the information. What if, because there are big companies behind, what if the only kind of answer I get when I ask for some code is, yeah, you have to use Visual Basic because this is our product? There's a likelihood that it happens. Another big issue I have today is that, as I said, with Humphrey Bogart or these kind of things, we now have a very, very powerful kind of tool that is able to generate content, image, but also video, sound, whatever, and making it so good that it's even better than the truth. Just an illustration here. This is Donald Trump being arrested by the FBI. It never happened. It never ever happened. This is a big fake. Like Obama saying all the good things he believes about Donald Trump, it's a big fake. If some of you have seen America's Got Talent this season, you had loads of these deep fake happening as a performance. It's absolutely possible. Well, this one is my French president, Macron, that is getting on strike with the people who are contesting the law he just made pass by brute force. So these things are not existing. The trouble is that with the social network that we're having today and the kind of information that young people have today, how can we distinguish what is true, what is not true, what is real, what is not real? I sometimes get, I don't know why, but maybe he knows me, I don't know, but a hacker coming to my mailbox and say, look, I know that you did something wrong last time, and I made a video of you, and I'm going to send it to all your colleagues and so on and so forth, unless you pay me, I don't know how much Bitcoin, whatever. Okay, usually I ignore. But being here, being filmed, having some kind of record today, it's absolutely feasible that with good AI in a certain amount of time, that guy can reproduce a video of me doing, I don't know, whatever wrong I've been doing, but I didn't. Okay, what the guy has in mind, It's possible. And then how will you tell that Olivier Denoo is just a big hog or a serious guy? You don't know. And the more I will try to convince you, the more you will be convinced that I'm on the other side. Come to the dark side, they have cookies. That's about it. Artificial intelligence is just a human creation. At this moment in time, artificial intelligence is not creating anything. It's just modifying, integrating, changing things and influences that have been made by human beings. There's no original content. Of course, you can say that this is original because you take different sources and call that inspiration, you create something else. Can it be artistic? My personal feeling is no, because artistic stuff, the art, is made to provoke emotion. It's coming out of emotion to provoke emotions. An AI has no emotion. There's no possibility for an AI to have emotions. Then some people say, it will go fine with the next version. And I can say, okay, let's talk as human to human. Well, I hope that you are all human. Let's define love. What is love? Can you describe? Oh, I can love my partner. I can love chocolate. I'm Belgian. I do. And beer. I can love my cat. I can love to be here with you, which is true as well. This is love. How can an AI distinguish between that? Not easy. AI are by definition kind of fragile. I've told you about TAI, I've told you about ChatGPT. It's not easy to get something that is bulletproof. You've probably seen this video about these, what is called adversarial techniques. You know, the guy is just wearing a sweater or a t-shirt with a certain pattern, and then suddenly it becomes a chair. The guy is not a guy anymore. And then you remove the t-shirt, or you just hide the special pattern, and then the face recognition camera recognizes, oh, this is a man, or this is a woman. Strange enough. So there are ways to fake AI, and we also need to be aware of that, and we also need to integrate that into our testing. So there's loads of topics that we need to address before we feel really comfortable in using AI. And that is it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Oliver. So I had one comment, because you were saying about the foundation level of ISTQB, and you actually referred to equivalence partitioning.
Yes.
So back in the day, I was testing ChatGPT. Yep. If it actually is able to describe to me the whole concept of this testing technique.
Yes.
And I went with, well, on purpose, I went with masking of defects. If it will be able to actually give me some examples of how to tackle the masking of defects, and it was not able to actually. It didn't understand the concept of two negative partitions and how you could actually, even though it's in definition, right? So it could like fetch and grab and actually throw the response back at me.
Well, probably your prompt was not very common and not really likely to happen. So the training phase is what it is, and he did not understand the question. I can tell you, I copyrighted a new test technique, actually. I just invented, now I cannot tell by heart, but it's in another presentation. I invented a brand new technique, and I just used a couple of buzzwords like auto-generative self-destructing test or something like that. And I asked ChatGPT, can you please tell me why it is a game changer in the testing industry and why we should use it? And I got an answer for 2 pages, telling me how good it was and blah, blah, blah. So I registered it. Don't try to use that buzzword anymore because it's mine. Well, if OpenAI allows, but this is it. So that's exactly the kind of stuff. And again, you can have, I'm not saying you don't need to use AI. Please use it because it helps. It saves us time. It gives us ID from time to time. But don't be naive. Make sure that you are the expert, you know, on the other side of the computer and understand what is going on. I would say I'm not afraid of artificial intelligence. I'm afraid of human stupidity.
Okay, any questions? Anyone? No questions?
So I was asked if there's no more question. Thank you very much again for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was kindly asked by the organizer to ask you not to rush too fast, because there will be a communication about this evening. I don't know what, I don't know who, but I've been asked, I've done my duty.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.